Hey everybody, TBC here. We're finally here. Kunark launches on Oakwynd this week, so I thought what better time to show you a quest that I think you should absolutely do. Alright, we'll settle on try to do on Oakwynd in Kunark. The quest isn't easy and it can be frustrating, but before we get into it, I just want to give a huge shout out to our channel members. Thank you so much for your continued support, and everybody else, if you want to be a member, the link's down below, and I really appreciate any like, subscribe, membership. It really does help me continue to grow the channel and keep making content for you all. Now, the quest, it is of course the Regal Band questline. And it's a multi-step quest with multiple rewards that are all frankly awesome, and it's definitely something that you should try to do. So let's get right on into it. So Kunark has launched, you've been leveling up, you've been to Chord, you're level 60, and now you're max KOS. So you've got a little bit of a problem. The Signet don't like you, but they've got some really nice quest items that you should definitely try for. These are all really good items that will last you the expansion. The problem is the quest is not the easiest quest to do, not because it involves killing anything particularly hard or difficult. It's more because of the time that can be involved to get it done. And while there are some things you can do to make it a little bit easier, nothing is guaranteed when it comes to the Regal Band questline. So the first thing you're going to want to do is fix your Kunark Faction. Now, really the only way to do this is by killing lots of these goblins, and you're gonna have to kill a whole lot of them for 2 items that they drop that will help you. Now, while you do get faction hit for killing them, although it does help, what we want is the skins and the salt, because those are what we turn in. Now, you are going to have to kill an absolute ton of these goblins, like loads and loads in this zone. You're going to be here for a good few hours, and it's going to be busy because a lot of people are also interested in raising Kunark Faction. So expect competition, but there are loads of mobs around, and there are loads of mobs in the zone, so you shouldn't have any real problem in finding areas. Nurga, you can do this as well. You can get the skins outside and the salts all outside. Pretty much any goblin in Kunark will drop mobs that you need to be able to do this quest. How I like to do it is pretty much just path straight through these zones, like all the time. I never like really stand still in a camp. I just keep moving around, killing everything that I come across, and you're doing that. There's loads of respawns, so you should be okay. You'll get a lot, but it will take time, and we need a lot of skins to get non-KOS. I'm talking a whole lot of skins to do it. Last time I did it, I had a few thousand skins and salts and things like that, so it will take time to be able to farm enough to be non-KOS. But actually being non-KOS has its benefits in Chord, that you can, you got free roam of the zone and nothing will aggro you. So very useful to have if you spend a lot of time in Chord like me. So keep killing these goblins, kill lots and lots of them, and get your skins, get your salt, and you can buy them. A lot of people will be selling them in the first few weeks of a TLP, but they'll be going for like 30 plat a piece, right? And you need a lot, so be mindful of that as well. So yeah, what you want to do is trade him your green goblin skin and your mountain death mineral salts, as many as you possibly can, because what we need to do, because like I said, we're probably all max KOS to these Signet, and we need to get to the Warmly faction for the first step. For every green goblin skin you trade, you'll get free faction, and for the death salts, the Mountain Death Salts, you hand in 2 and that will give you the free faction. So yeah, you need to hand in an awful lot of these to pull yourself out of max KOS to Warmly. And when you've hit level 50 and you have the Warmly faction, you can hail him and tell him you served the Sarnak, and in return you will get the Dizog Signet of Service. This is a really nice ring to start with for that HP and that mana. It's a decent ring just by itself without even going any further into the quest. And after you've done that very first quest for the Dizog Signet of Service, you can move on to the second part of the quest for the Regal Band. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is come over to Frontier Mountains, and you want to be in this kind of area in Frontier Mountains in this cave system, so kind of close to the Burning Woods. You will find the Goblin Trader. Now if he's down, if someone's killed him, a couple of hours and he'll be back. It's not usually a huge problem, and when you con him you'll see he's on ally and he's not KOS like these other goblins are. So now that they're out of the way, give your Signet of Service to him. He gives you straight back. You ask him about the plan, evidence, and he gives you the Traitor's Note, and that's what we're after from him. So after we've done that last little bit, we're not actually going all that far. Coming more to the northwest, nestled away, you should see the Sarnak Spider, and again you con him. He is not on Goblin Faction or anything. You should be at least Warmly to him, as I am right here. I am ally. So what you do, you want to find him, you want to give him the Traitor's Note that you just got, you want time to proceed and get the report, and he gives you the forged note to the courier. Now this is where the quest starts getting a little bit more frustrating. The next part, we're coming over to Warslick's Wood, into this little hut by the Kabbalist Zone line, and in this corner you'll find the Shady Goblin. The problem is you probably won't find him here at all, because he's a 24-hour give or take respawn, and there's usually loads of people that want to kill him. So what you want to do is give him the Regal Note and a doggone insignia. The insignia you get when you're killing the million of goblins for faction. It drops all the time randomly from any goblin, and once you're done, this guy will respawn and you're going to wait 24 hours. Now what a lot of guilds do is pop picks. So at the end of a raid night they'll come here to pop a pick, but there's no guarantee you'll get it. This is open world, anyone can take it, because he does spawn in picks and on server ups straight away. So if you're quick you can get it, but this guy is definitely one of the harder points of this quest, simply because so many people are trying to do it at this point. It's definitely a roadblock. Good luck to you. And once we've done with that and we've got our item that we needed from the Shady Goblin, which is the report to Skargus, we come back to the cave system again in Frontier Mountains, where we spoke to the Goblin Traitor, but this time we're not after the Traitor, we are after this guy, the Angry Goblin. Now the Angry Goblin, believe it or not, is like a 3-day plus or minus spawn. Absolutely crazy mob to try and do and spawn. This is harder again. The only real way to get this is straight away at a server up, or popping picks after on with a raid. That's pretty much the only way to do it. These gnomes all take a really high number to pop a pick. It's very difficult to get the number, so usually raid time is the only way to do it. Again, this guy really hard to do. Not easy whatsoever to get it in open world. You've got to be super lucky, but once you engage, you hand that in, you will need to kill one. Now Warlord Skargus, he will be quest locked to you, so nobody else will be able to engage with it. He'll have a little asterisk next to his name, but you will need a couple of friends, because he can hurt a little bit. Normally like 2 or 3 characters will easily be able to get him down, like 2 monks and a cleric. You'd have no problem. Just bring a couple of friends if you were to pop a pick. not all that difficult. Like I said, that the hard part of this bit is just getting the angry goblin locked down and spawned, because again, there's no guarantee with popping picks, and there's no guarantee you will be the first there on server up or after a patch, or it goes down, you name it. And all we were after was his head, so not much really, you know, not worth the 3-day wait that we may have had, or having to wait for our guild for it to be our turn to pop the pick and give it in. But yeah, just after his head, and then back to Chardok. So what we want to do, we want to give our ring and our head to the Herald, and in return we get our other ring back, and we get the Regal Band of Bathazed, I guess is what it's called back, which is a fantastic ring. A huge amount of like HP on it, and it does come with a DS that you can recharge at the Herald. So looking at our 2 rewards that we get right here, you know, 2 rings that are both really good. The Regal Band or Bathazed, if you get it, you're not going to be replacing for a little while. The Signet ring isn't quite as solid, but it's still really good for Kunark. 2 very nice rings, and I really would suggest a lot of melee out there. It's so worthwhile you getting it. In fact, for most characters, like that HP and mana on them is really nice. And a little bit of extra stats as well. They just miss resists really. So TBC, I hear you cry, I've got my rings, is that it? No, there is one last part to this quest, and it's a good one. So certainly, so if you're a melee, that you will want to go after this item. It is so good early on. It can be used in multiple slots. You'll absolutely love it. The Spirit Wracked Chord. So the first part we'll need to come to Sebelis. Now, if you know me, I really dislike leveling in Sebelis. I just think it is a far inferior zone in every sense to Chardok, but you are going to want to come here probably for spells and a few items. But the jugs drop what we need randomly, the Undead Dragon Sinew. It can drop from any jug. If you be down here killing for spells, you will come across it, no problem. Usually I've seen maybe 1 an hour. The second part is probably going to take you a little bit longer. You're going to have to come to Howling Stones, which means you need to do that key quest. I absolutely love Howling Stones as a zone, and perhaps I'll probably do a video guide on it at some point, because it is such a fun little zone with its wings and whatnot. But we're not here for that. Thankfully we can do this in a DZ. It's what I don't understand about this game. They gave a DZ to Howling Stones, but not Chardok. Always struck me a little bit odd about why is that, but this is the spot you'll want to come to and set up in. So you'll need a group. Drusilla is who we're after, and she's one group of bold. You typically set up in that corridor, and once you've done that, you will have a monk who can split her out. So she can be quite easily split from the golem guards. You don't need to kill them at all. You just got to split her out. Now, Drusilla can drop a bunch of items, some other stuff that's needed for quests, like the urn. That's the piece that we need. Like I said, Drusilla, she is one groupable. She drops some nice loot. Definitely try and do her once a week with a couple of your buddies to get these items, and hopefully it doesn't take you long to get the mirror. She's a necro, so she can cast necro stuff, and she can also gate, so draining her mana can be useful. But she's not that hard. Like I said, one group. So once we've done that, we are back in Chardok, and when we've got faction at this point, you know, it is actually so much fun running through Chardok. And look, there was a name just there. Yeah, I really like having faction on in Kunark and Intervelius on any character that I have after I've leveled them. Like I said, this is the place I come to level to 60. It's just the best zone. Certainly you can get a kennel group. That's the fastest way to level to 60 typically. But once you're 60 and you've got a faction, you can have a lot of fun in this zone. You can run around, snipe the names to your heart's content. You know, you don't have to worry too much at all. Like I said, nothing's just going to aggro you out of the blue, not even the undead, nothing. And we're going to skip through the graveyard. Oh, Gravemaster's up. So it's nice. And to get here, as a reminder, you will need someone to unlock the door, so you need a pit locker because there's no key. I don't know if they just ever forgot to put one in. So you need either a bard or a rogue to open that first door, and that takes you down into the library. This is a nice camp, and not many people actually level here because it can be quite overwhelming initially. You have to mind the trap through the other pick door and down into the royals area, and we are here to meet with the queen. Now the royals do spawn in picks and respawn in a couple of hours, so if she's not up, just try a different pick. People do kill them quite often because they drop items that you need for epic and whatnot, and if you look, mobs do path on top of her, so yeah, make sure you're tight in the correct NPC when you're doing your turn in. We give the sinew, we give the mirror, and we give our Regal Band, and we get the spirit record and our ring back. So here we are, I have them all. Here's the spirit record, such a nice item for me. You're absolutely beastly on monks having this. It's got great stats like the stamina, the HP, the attack, and the HP regen, all really good, and you can fit it around like your other items in your build because it can go in 3 different slots. Add on the rings that we got from doing these quest line, that's a lot of additional hit points. You got 3 really nice items from following this quest line, and I really do think that you should try to give this a go on any server during Kunark, whether that's Oakwynd or in the future. Very fun quest, but not fun to do. The other option is, of course, just Camper the Grand Lord Keeper, who's a rare mob in the library, for your chance to get the spirit record. I have seen it drop from him in the past. He does drop it, it's just a rare drop from a rare mob, but hey, if you don't want to go through and do those other rings and you just want the cord, this may be an option for you. So there you have it, a quest that I think you should definitely try to do on Oakwynd or on any future TLP going into Kunark. I've done it before. I did it on Aradoon. I got Shady Goblin. He was just up in open world. There was a few other people there, but they must not have been paying attention because he spawned and I just walked up and handed my my piece in and was able to move on. And for Angry Goblin, I think my guild helped with popping a pick, because really that's the only way to do that, especially as a monk. So for melee, the best way now is to have a mage friend bind there. When the pick opens, they pick, they press gate, you pick over, and then they cough you, which is a longer workaround, and you do risk losing it in that timeline because that's 2 spells, where somebody else coming in only has to cast gate and might be able to snipe it from you. And that's typically the risk on this mob, is the risk that other people will snipe it. Even if your guild have popped a pick, hey, it's open world, it's anything goes, anyone can jump in and get it, and that's kind of just the way it is. So let me know down in the comments below, are you going to give this quest a go? Has this been helpful for you? Let me know down below. I really enjoy this. I'm going to look at some other quests on Oakwynd and for Kunark that I think you should absolutely do as well. A few others that I've really enjoyed in the past. Some of those archaeology quests, but also things like greenmist for Shadow Knights and the Cudgel and, like, say, the Headcap for Necro. There's a bunch of quests out there, and I'd certainly encourage you to go out and explore and have a look at that, because rating wise, there's not really an awful lot to do in Kunark. I am the Brick Canuck, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.